Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. We are going to keep trucking right along here, rain or sun, snow or wind, whatever the elements may throw our way, whatever may be going on out there, we are going to keep moving forward here at the Gamer's Den. Really, I think it's about all we can do, and it's all we should do is keep calm and move forward. So, let's begin, shall we? For today, we are taking a look at the 4th level extracts for the Alchemist, and really, the Alchemist, like any spellcaster, the further you go, the more interesting the abilities get. And for our purposes, though, there are a select number of extracts that, of course, are going to mesh really well with the particular build that we have. There are some others that extend your reach and allow you to affect a wider range of things in melee. Those are great for more of a Mr. Hyde type of build. Those don't really work so good for us. They're still good extracts, and by no means are they useless. I mean, even the bomber could find some creative use for these if the player's quick-witted and clever enough. But these have an obvious, immediate mechanical benefit for our build with our Mad Bomber, our Junkrat type Alchemists that we're building here today. And starting us off with the 4th level extracts, we have Freedom of Movement. One standard action, it's personal or touch range, so either you affect yourself, or if you have the appropriate discoveries like Infusion, you can affect your allies. It lasts 10 minutes per level, which is incredible to have. This will last you through several fights. You can move normally through effects that would typically impede you, like difficult terrain, paralysis, slow, fog wall, a lot of different effects like this no longer won't keep you down. I mean, the fact that you can overcome paralysis with this is incredible. Absolutely something you want to have, because if anybody's casting these kinds of spells on you, they're trying to keep you locked down, they're trying to keep the melee types from closing in, they're trying to keep the ranged attackers from being able to move around and keep them pinned more or less in place for the other NPCs to come around and attack you, flank you. They're trying to disrupt your tactics and your formation, and this allows you to overcome that quite readily. And in speaking of overcoming things, we come next to Restoration, which takes 3 rounds to cast. This probably isn't going to be something that you use in combat, but oh my god, is this one just so useful. It's touch range, and it's will to resist, though why would you? Why would any of your allies be wanting to resist this? This removes the effects, reducing the target's ability scores or ability damage. It also removes fatigue. It takes exhaustion up to fatigue, and can remove temporary negative levels or 1 permanent negative level. It has a hefty price tag at 1,000 gold pieces worth of diamond dust, but by the time you have this, that shouldn't be super difficult to get, and really, removing negative levels, temporary or permanent, is huge. You don't want that in the way. That's such a massive debuff, and with classes like the Witch, they can apply multiple negative levels with some of their spells in certain cases. So I certainly like to use these against players, and there's plenty of other DMs out there who do as well, so definitely pick up Restoration in order to foil our efforts, thwart our plans, all of that fun jazz. And this next one here is something meant to help you kind of keep yourself together. It's Enchantment Foil. Again, 1 standard action, personal range only. And it lasts 1 hour a level, which we thought Freedom of Movement's 10 minutes a level was incredible. This is so damn good at 1 hour a level. You get a +4 bonus on your saving throws against enchantments, so +4 for your will saves. Success lets you identify the spell, and you can further act like you are under the spell's effects, and you get a +20 bonus to your bluff check to convince the spellcaster and others that you failed and are under the enchantment's effects. That's huge. Can you imagine the setup that you can put into place here? Granted, it's not like you're going to slip up behind the spellcaster and slip the poison dagger in their back. You could, but you'd be better off getting in just in close enough to bombing range and then just pelt them for everything you're worth with something that drops their intelligence or their wisdom scores, make them vulnerable in some way, and deal a hefty amount of damage to boot. And given that will saves are one of your big weak points, getting a +4 bonus on top of that is nothing to sneeze at. And tricking the spell, I just love how this one comes together. Absolutely a must get. And following right up with that, we have Mutagenic Touch. Another standard action, touch range, Fortitude negates this. You touch a target to transfer half of your alchemical bonus to a stat and twice the associated mental stat penalty. If you're using a cognitogen, this is reversed. You give them a bonus to half your alchemical bonus to your mental stat and twice the associated physical stat penalty. This is a great opportunity for this Junkrat type alchemist to use other mutagen stat boosts. You can use other things now, boost your strength, dex, constitution, your wisdom, your charisma, and then hit somebody with this and drop their stats significantly. I mean, imagine you've used enchantment foil and then you get up behind the spellcaster. Spellcasters are not known for their high degree of strength. So use this, hit them with it. Granted, maybe you don't want to give a spellcaster an intelligence boost, but if you can drop their strength to 1 or to 0, watch them struggle to even move. I mean, I would rate that, they barely have the strength to lift their arms and gesticulate and make the proper somatic components, the proper gestures necessary to cast their magics. But your mileage may vary. Definitely plan it out, because say you're dealing with an especially buff spellcaster who uses intelligence for some reason, and you give them, or who uses intelligence and has a high strength for some reason, and then you give them a boost to their intelligence, that can be bad news, especially if they're not all the way to 0. More often than not, you're going to be better off giving them penalties to their intelligence, to their wisdom, whatever their primary spellcasting stat is. You want to affect that and drop that down. Lowers the spells they have access to, the save DCs for all of it. That's really what you would rather do in that instance. But this is not all that's available to you at 4th level. Oh, no. We have other things to take a look at here. And next on our list is invisibility, the greater version specifically. It works exactly like the invisibility spell, except that it lasts only 1 round per caster level, and attacking doesn't break the spell. So, say you've used your 3rd level extract and you're flying. Throw greater invisibility on yourself, and now you are a stealth bomber, just flying up above the battlefield, just dropping your bombs away to great effect with, I would argue, minimal penalties, because, well, you can overcome cover bonuses, you don't have to worry about who or what's in the way, although your other feats should be helping with that, precise bombs and everything. But even still, this is great to have, and you can engage flying opponents without having to worry too much about whether or not they're going to be able to retaliate effectively against you. It's definitely a good one to consider, although I recommend the other 4 first. This is still a good get. But coming up after that, we have Stone Skin. This is going to suit the hide build even better, but this is by no means bad for you. Reducing the damage that any squishy character takes is going to be useful. And plus, having this in your repertoire with the infusions discovery can allow you to apply this to maybe some of the fighting types that are going to be in the thick of melee and help them reduce the damage that they're going to take. Keep them alive longer to keep yourself alive longer. It's 1 standard action, creature touched. Lasts 10 minutes a level, which again is just great. The subject gains a damage reduction of 10 unless it's an adamantine weapon. So adamantine longsword, dagger, pardon me, any of that will overcome this. But should they lack such a weapon, then it will block up to 150 points of damage total at 10 chunks at a time. After the 150 mark has been hit, the spell will end, and you're more likely to hit the 150 damage mark over, the 10 minutes per level. This is going to be lasting well over an hour at this point. So, this is a good spell to have. It's a good buff. It's a solid choice. Definitely better for Hyde to be applying to themselves, but if you don't really have much else to do, or you need to conserve bombs, or it looks like things are going to get particularly hairy, throw this on yourself, throw this on the wizard, whoever it seems like is going to need it most, and then just go to work. Do everything else you're supposed to do after you've applied the appropriate buff. Then after that, we start coming to extracts that are not so great. And this is one example of one that's just kind of okay, but it's not the greatest. It's actually probably one of the better admixture extracts that you have in your formula list. It's the Viper Bomb admixture. One standard action, personal effect. This doesn't affect anybody else. It can't affect anybody else except maybe another alchemist. And it will last 1 round a level. Your bombs will now additionally explode with vipers when you use this. It sounds really cool, and I actually love the visual. Up to 4 will appear, 1 to attack the main target you've thrown the bomb at, and 3 others to attack any targets that are hit with the splash damage. And they will make bite attacks and force fortitude saves as appropriate for the Viper in their own stat block, which you can find online at the D20 PFSRD website. This is great because it adds in poison damage. It adds in a little extra bite attack there. The thing is, by the time you get this, there's going to be plenty of targets that are immune to poison damage. I mean, this would have been great at 3rd level, I think. This definitely would have been great at 2nd level. Absolutely incredible. But, c'est la vie. Here we are at 4th level extracts. It's not bad by any stretch, and it can be entertaining as all hell. I can see plenty of instances for great hilarity and fun to be had with this one, and when you're up against opponents that are vulnerable to poison, this will have the desired added effect. But you're probably not going to get the greatest amount of mileage out of this. There are other choices to be made out there. There's other things that may work more often. Some may be situational, but particular to the campaign that you're playing, and maybe that situation comes up more. So other choices may be much more viable or much more valuable. In which case, go for the spells that are going to help you most. From a mechanical build standpoint, at any rate. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your character, you're role-playing. I don't believe in just totally broken min-maxing builds, but we are doing an optimization guide. And for that reason, this next one here, I don't like for optimization or even really as RP, and that's Unbearable Brightness. It's 1 standard action, it's personal only, and it affects up to 30 feet out, and it lasts 1 round per level, with a reflex for partial save. You glow with a light from your body that extends outward to 30 feet. Creatures within that 30 feet are dazzled. And creatures with a light sensitivity, like drow, orcs, have to make a reflex save or be blinded. The thing is, the way I read this is that light sensitivity is only working within that 30 feet. It's not working further out from there. Maybe a kinder DM would interpret it that way. Certainly, I could make a be persuaded towards that, depending on the circumstances. But overall, this is just a great way of putting a great bright beacon over yourself and shouting, "I'm here! Over here! Shoot me!" You don't want that. I mean, drow are going to be using hand crossbows. They're going to be out further than 30 feet. They're going to ambush. Sure, maybe the ones that are stepping into melee, that'll, you have a chance of blinding them, which I guess could be helpful, but you have to know the ambush is coming. And if they see that that's a huge-ass bright light, they're going to stay away from it because they're drow. They're sensitive to light. They know they're sensitive to light. Not only that, but this is easily replicatable with an alchemical item that you can readily make, and that's the Thunderstone. That might be the the Dungeons and Dragons name. I'll have to take a look again later. Probably have a note somewhere down in the description below correcting myself. But point is, you basically have an alchemical flashbang that you can make use of. That's not going to use up an extract. It's not going to paint a beacon on yourself, and it's going to do the exact same thing. So that's 3 strikes right there. This one's out all the way around. This is not great at all. I mean, unless you're planning to be a disco ball at a great party, maybe this would work out great, but even then, the bard probably has all kinds of glamours and other illusions to make use of. But I digress. This is an example of one that's just terrible from an optimization standpoint and really from a role-playing standpoint. I don't see why you would use this one when you have so many other better options readily available to you. And again, Thunderstones, make use of those. Use those instead. With the Tanglefoot bags even. I could even see an alchemist making a Thunder Tanglefoot bag. Combine the two, entangle them, and blind them with dazzling brilliance as it just sparks. Anyways, these are the extracts I think will be great for you at 4th level, and a couple of examples of ones to just avoid or maybe pick up if you don't have any other better options. Are you going to make use of them all that readily? Who knows? Maybe you do want to be unbearably blight. Maybe you do want to be as grossly incandescent as the sun. Praise the sun. Anyways, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you all have yourselves a good one. And it's not nighttime now. I'm recording in the daylight. I'm all kinds of thrown off. This is bizarre. At any rate, have yourselves a good day. Stay safe out there, everyone.